Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm currently going to read Surrounded by Idiots and I thought I would take the quiz. So Surrounded by Idiots is published by Penguin, and on the Penguin website you can actually take the quiz to see what colour you are, and so I thought I'd give it a go basically. I wasn't sure to take the quiz before reading the book or after reading the book, but in the book it just has 4 different colours, so red, yellow, green and blue. So blue being analytical, green being stable, red being dominant and yellow being inspiring, and there's both positive and negative behaviours in those colours. And so I think I'm just gonna do the quiz, and I thought you could join along with me. And if you want to do the quiz yourself, I will link the quiz down below for you to do, and also comment down below which colour or colours you get. As we can see here, we have the book on Penguin website, and it just gives you a quick overview of the book, and then obviously the different types of personalities. So analytical blue, dominant red, stable green, inspiring yellow. And this might be a short video, as this quiz only takes an hour, 1 minute and 30 seconds. So let's get started. So the first question is, how are you most likely to react to new information? And I think this can vary, to be honest with you. If it directly impacts me, it would be quickly, depending on how or what the information is. If it doesn't directly impact me, then I'll be quite slow about it. If it takes more of like emotional, if the information is very emotional, for example, if someone like passed away or something sad or bad's happening, it takes a while for me to process that, so that would be quite slowly, and then obviously with that emotions start to come. But I'm not sure which one to pick. I wouldn't say rapidly. I'd probably go for, I'm going to go for calmly for now. I'm always calm when new information appears, so we shall go for that. So what do you put the most effort into? Catching up with friends, hosting an event, planning my week ahead, cleaning my house. Out of those 4, I would say catching up with friends. Which prospect excites you the least? Ooh. Scheduling out my week in advance, attending a social event with the aim of making new friends, planning a big change like moving house or switching job, entering a serious relationship. I would say straight off the bat, attending a social event with the aim of making new friends. I'm both introverted and extroverted, so I don't mind attending a social event with friends because obviously, you know, it feels safe. But to make new friends, I always find myself awkward. I think that's what everyone or most people might feel. So I am going to put B. How good are you at being present? Pretty good. I try to live in the moment. Not great. I find I'm often thinking about the past. Not great. I'm often thinking about the future. Ooh. I would say I think more about the past than I do about the future, and I do struggle to live in the moment because I'm always very critical of myself. So for example, I passed my driving test and now I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? Like even though I worked hard for it, it hasn't fully sunk in that I can drive and go on the road. Again, that goes back to the new information bit. So I'm gonna say I find I'm often thinking about the past because I do think about that more than my own future, which is kind of bad because I should think about my future a bit more. So when faced with conflict, how do you respond? Cautiously, supportively, directly, impulsively? I would definitely say cautiously, as I'm not a great person when it comes to conflict. I hate conflict, to be honest. I'd rather people just talk in like this sort of tone rather than hearing the screaming or shouting, and it just puts me off. I just shut down, to be honest, because I just can't be bothered with it. Maybe a bit of a childhood trauma there for you, but I am going to put cautiously because you never know how the other person is going to react. So which are you most likely to avoid? Being alone, conflict, being part of a clique or special or specific social group? I would say straight away from the previous question, conflict, without a doubt. People often praise you or me for being kind, ambitious, organised, optimistic. I would say I'm kind, but to a point where that kindness can run out, to be honest with you. I would say I'm an ambitious person, but sometimes I can come across maybe a little bit airy in a sense that I can be a bit too ambitious and sometimes need to think a bit more. Or is that more optimistic? I would say if I'm going to rank these, I would say I have all of these qualities in me, but I think I would go with organised at the bottom, depending on what the organisation is. Then I would go with ambitious, optimistic and kind. I would say either ambitious or kind. I'm going to go with ambitious more than kind. I do get colleagues that say, oh no, I always do travel a lot. I'm always very optimistic or ambitious with my future. Hang on. And what I want to do is like traveling and having this channel. So I would say that one, to be honest. Okay, number 8. Something you'd like to improve on is being more aware of how others are feeling, being less reserved, being more open about my emotions, being less bossy. I'm going to say being less reserved, to be honest. Again, that goes back to that social event. I'd say in a new environment with new people, I'm probably more reserved and not as outgoing, to be honest. Being more aware of how others feel. I'm always hyper alert of how others feel. So if someone walks in the room and they feel a bit off, then I'm like aware. So I'm going to be being less reserved. We're calculating your answers. Are you ready to see results? Okay, let's have a look. Blue, analytical. I would say that. I'm not going to lie, analytical. I overanalyze everything maybe. But let's read it and see what it says about me. So, you might be a blue, analytical personality type. You know you've met a blue if you visit someone's home and everything is organised in a particular way. Clear labels and names on each hook so that the children will know exactly where to hang up their jackets. Dinner menus divided into 6-week intervals to ensure a balanced diet. Stuck on the refrigerator door. If you look at his tools, you'll find that everything has its own spot and nothing is out of place. Why? A blue DIY guy always puts things back where they belong. That's something I've always told as a child, put something back where they belong. He is also a realist. He sees errors and he sees risks. He's the melancholic who closes the circle of behaviour, reserved, analytical and detail orientated, and some words you might associate with a blue. Okay, let's have a look at the book. So in the book at the back, it has blue, so analytical, so negative, critical, indecisive, narrow-minded, fastidious and moralising. I wouldn't say I'm narrow-minded personally. I say I like to see the open picture, to be honest. Indecisive, yes, I can be a very indecisive person because I'm someone who likes to have options, to be honest with you. But positive is diligent, thoughtful, serious/persistent, demanding and methodical. Yes, I like to have a method in what I do. I like to have a plan or strategy of what I'm doing. So for example, which I think now, going on holiday, so for example, going to Malawi, I've got a method of processing all of that. So, I have like a plan and action, what I need to do, what has been done, I tick it all off. If I need to pay for something, make sure I have set dates where I pay for it. Today, for example, I went down to Boots, the chemist, to get my yellow fever vaccine. I organised that a few weeks ago to have that done in between my rabies vaccine and my next dose of Hep A and Hep B. So I would say I'm very methodical, thoughtful. I'm a thoughtful person. But let's have a look at the other, so if you can't see. So it has positive and negative at the bottom there, and then a bunch of words. This is so bad. And a bunch of words to describe a blue person, which is maybe coincidence, which is quite ironic because I am wearing blue today. So I am going to start reading this book, and it has different behaviours, so the different chapters, and I think this could be my new favourite non-fiction book of the year so far, depending what I gain from it. And by the end of this video, I might or might not recommend this book for you to read. So please stick around to watch my review. Hopefully I can read this in 2 weeks. I'm off for 2 weeks now for Easter, so hopefully I can read it in 2 weeks. So I shall see you when this video publishes, basically. So I wanted to give a quick update about Surrounded by Idiots. I am enjoying the book so far. I'm not going to lie, it has been a bit of a dry kind of read. It's been interesting, but also at the same time a bit dry. So far for my informal review is that I'd only recommend reading this if you're someone who's able to read that sort of content, as I know I would give up pretty easily, to be honest with you, at the beginning, but persevered. I've gone through and I'm just under halfway now with the book. Just over 3 weeks now since I did that little quiz, and I have found out that there is an actual official test that you can do. So Thomas Erikson does provide a personality type test. It costs $75 US from what I'd seen. So if you'd like me to do that, just comment down below, and I'm tempted to do that in a different video. And so far, I think with the book, I am definitely more of a greeny blue person rather than just a solid blue person. From reading the different types of characteristics and the different types of behaviour, there's some things with some of the colours, well, I don't really do that. And then there's sometimes, well, I kind of do that, but off the one chance, so I don't really resonate with that either. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the book at the moment, and everything is fine as well. But for now, I'm going to go back to reading this book, and I will probably form a full opinion in a week's time. Hopefully I can get it done in a week. So I finally finished reading Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson, and it was a long one, to be honest with you. I did enjoy it. There's definitely some pieces in here that I did laugh at, but it is definitely a book where you do need to have a lot of willpower and brain power to read through it. I just wanted to get it done and over with, to be honest with you. I was kind of bored halfway through, but it is one of those books where it is mainly focused on sort of intellectual behaviour of humans, and that's I do find quite interesting, comparing human behaviour with animal behaviour. But that's sort of a semi-overview of what I think about it. So if you want to skip this next part, that's okay. I'm just going to delve deeper into the book. So the book is split into several chapters. There's like sort of an introductory behind the idea of the book and the author and the background about the author. and then it gives you a background knowledge, if you like, or understanding of each type of person. So again, beginning of the video, red, yellow, green, blue, and then it goes on to different scenarios and different ways a certain person would react to a situation. And so as you can see here, I do have a lot of tabs, which I did color coordinate them, so red for red, blue for blue, etc. And there's definitely a lot of interesting aspects in this book. There are definitely moments where I'm like, actually, I've seen that characteristic in that person or that characteristic in that other person. However, he does also explain not to use this book as a guide to human behaviour in general. You should do it on your own basis, really, and your own personal opinion, not to use this book as a way to influence your opinion on other people. And so I'd recommend this book if you are someone who is interested in either human psychology, human behaviour, or self-help sort of books. As with this one, I did relate to a lot of the blue. However, from taking the quiz to reading this now, I do think I'm more of a mixture of colours rather than one singular colour. Particularly, I do exhibit a lot of blue and green behaviours. There is a section, I'm not sure if I kept a tab on it. Is it over here? It's on page 196. I have to go back a little bit. So, and I quote from the book, statistically speaking, only about 5% of the population just has one colour that shows in their behaviour. Around 80% have two, and the rest have three. No one has four, not with the tool that I use. So he uses a specific model and tool system to create a profile of people. So he goes to business conferences and other private businesses who might want to have a behavioural analysis of their employees, not in like a bad way like that, but it's just more of an understanding of who people are, how they function. As it also states in the book, the best colour combinations of people working together and not the best colour combinations of people to work together. But in the final chapter, he also explains that you need an array of people to be able to get a job done, to get a task done. Otherwise, if you just have one group of people who are all exactly the same, nothing really gets done and nothing is achieved. So again, a quote, it's also relatively easy to recognise people who have two colours. Two colour combinations normally follow any of the axes, so they are blue-red, red-yellow, yellow-green, or green-blue. It does happen, of course, that purely opposite qualities can be found in one and the same person. I've met a lot of yellow-blue people. There is nothing wrong with that, it's just less common. And what's really unusual is distinctly red-green profiles. Why this is the case, I don't know. End quote, or end. This chapter is who gets along and why it works. So it states, with the diagram that I shown earlier, the best people that work together. So it's sort of like a grid axis profile. So a blue and red can work together, a blue and green can work together, but a challenging combination is a blue and a yellow working together. And what I found also interesting is the background history of this. Chapter 18 is a short reflection through history. Again, you can skip this part. If you want to skip this part, that's completely fine. But I just thought it's quite interesting how it goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks and the Aztecs as well. So with the Greeks, you have Hippocrates. Hippocrates is a well-renowned physician who was basically a doctor, and he was kind of sort of not looked down in society, but questioned in society because he didn't believe that the gods punished those with these certain conditions that he found. He believes it was just more of nature rather than the gods inflicting pain and suffering on humans. He had like this humoral pathology with the brain and other parts of the body, if you like, and he believed this theory of four humours or for bodily fluids. And so from the book, you had a melancholic person, a choleric person, a phlegmatic person, and a sanguine person. Each one represents a different colour. So in that order, it was blue, red, green, yellow. There was quite a few interesting things. So for example, the name Chloe that we have today, for example, Chloe is actually an ancient Greek word, and it comes from the meaning yellow bile, which I thought was quite funny. So therefore, a choleric person is controlled by yellow bile or by the liver. They are fiery and temperamental. Choleric people sometimes frighten those around them, and their powerful ways, they can be translated as hot-blooded. They are a red characteristic, if you like. And so he goes on about different types of fluids, if you like. And then finally, we have another section, which is about the Aztecs, again, using the colours blue, red, yellow, green. For Aztecs, blue represented water, red fire, green earth, yellow air, and each one represented a different characteristic person within the tribe. So for example, a fire person would represent someone who was a warrior type. An air person, so yellow person, is someone who is determined but considerably more easygoing. An earth person, so a green person, is someone who works for the village, for the better of the unit, for the better of the group. They are for the collective. And someone who is blue, if I can find it, is a water person. So water was an element the Aztecs had respect for. Water can crush everything in its path, but you can also bottle it if you know how to do it. Quiet and secure water people observed everything that was happening, so they were more of a, I would say from the book, like a wise person per se. And so no matter the sort of culture, whether that was the Aztecs or the Greeks, this sort of behaviour has been observed throughout time, which I thought was quite interesting. And so the book also goes on about how to deal with feedback to different people, whether that is positive or negative feedback, how to deal with different people who are stressed, so they exhibit different stress symptoms. They can either be quite shouty, burst of energy, quick 5-minute rage, if you like, or another person can just get by, or looks like they're getting by, actually they're not, it's being bottled up, and then all of a sudden they will explode, and it can happen from months to years of this bottle up, and they can just simply explode. And so it's definitely a book, like I said, I'd recommend if you are interested in human behaviour, human psychology, or self-help. But does this book know better than I know myself? And I think, yes, it has made me more aware of who I am. I definitely think I am more of a blue-green person. So if we just remind ourselves the traits of blue-green, so if we just quickly look at the negative and the positive ones. So the positive for blue is diligent, thoughtful, demanding, methodical. For green, it's supportive, respectful, reliable and pleasant. The negative for a blue is critical, narrow-minded, moralizing. For a green, it's stubborn, uncertain, complaint, dependent and awkward. And there is obviously more here, so as you can see, I will link everything down below for you. However, like I said before, the author does create these tests for these conferences that he attends to, and there is one available online. So I think the Penguin one on the website was just more of a fun way to maybe quickly understand, just a bit like a wiki quiz if you look back in the day. For those that know, I think it's just a quick general standing maybe of maybe who you are. So I think going into this with me thinking I'm a blue, but then reading actually about the other colours, like actually I do exhibit a bit of that one, a bit of that one, but I do think I'm predominantly blue-green. However, if you would like the proper results, comment down below if you want me to take the test. You do have to pay for the test, so I'm more than welcome to pay for it out of my pocket, because I think it will be interesting to know a bit more about myself. So if you are interested in that, comment down below. And also, if you made it to the end of this video, well done, you are in the top 1%. And comment down below a red, yellow, green, blue heart, something that you maybe resonate with more, and maybe you might resonate with 2 colours, so maybe comment down 2 colours that you resonate with. But thank you for watching this video. I know it's a long one. I have been enjoying making these sort of long form videos. Some of them do perform better than others, so if you're new here, please click the subscribe button to follow more. I also do have a side series called A Gentleman's Guide to Cozy Living, and right now a lot of people seem to be enjoying that, and there will be more videos of that soon. But if you like sort of these sort of vlogs, sort of random bits of vlogs, if you like, I will be doing a lot more book ones as well as a lot more life ones, especially towards the summer where I will be going to Malawi. So if you want to see me in Malawi, please click the subscribe button so you're kept up to date with what I'm up to. But once again, thank you very much for watching the video, and I shall see you in the next one.